Hello, welcome back to our Fire Nursing Tutorial YouTube channel. In this class, we'll study with another topic, that is Meniere's disease. Here, it is related to the inner ear. What is here? Meniere's. It is a long term. It is a long term inner ear disease. Inner ear disorder. And then here it is in Meniere's disease there will be the dilated membranous labyrinth. Dilated membranous labyrinth. And then this Meniere's disease is also called as, it's also known as idiopathic endolymphatic hydrops. It's also known as Meniere's disease is also called as idiopathic endolymphatic hydrops. Here, hydrops is nothing but there will be the excessive accumulation of watery fluid in the cells or tissues or serous cavities. That is referred as hydrops. Here, Meniere's disease is also known as idiopathic endolymphatic hydrops. It occurs when there is impairment in the normal fluid and electrolyte balance in the inner ear. It is called as Meniere's disease. And it is a long-term condition. It's a long-term disorder. It is related to the inner ear. Here we'll see. In Meniere's disease, we can see the triad of symptoms. It's very important. That is triad of symptoms. That is vertigo, sensory neural hearing loss, sensory neural hearing loss, and then tinnitus. Here vertigo is nothing but a dizziness or giddiness, lightheadedness we can call. And then sensory neural hearing loss. And then tinnitus. That is, there will be the sound, like that feeling in the inner ear when there is no external source. There is a feeling, something sound in the inner ear, like that the person is going to feel. Those who are suffering with Meniere's disease. These are the triad symptoms. We'll see the risk factors. Here, risk factors are, first one is anatomical abnormalities. And then genetics, allergies, and then anatomical abnormalities, genetics, allergies, and then toxicity. Yes, toxicity, and then circulatory diseases, circulatory problem, anatomical abnormality, and then genetics, allergies, and then also metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes. These are the risk factors. Next we'll see the pathophysiology. Here, due to the etiological factors, there will be the overproduction of endolymph, overproduction of endolymph. Due to that endolymph, there will be the excessive accumulation in inner ear. Due to that, increase the pressure. Due to that pressure, rupture of membranes. It leads to permanent loss of auditory and vestibular function. Okay, we'll see here what happens. Due to the etiological factors like head injury, allergies, genetic related, that is due to the etiological factors, due to the causes, there will be the overproduction of endolymph. Endolymph is nothing but it's a sensory fluid that present in the inner ear. When there will be the overproduction of this fluid, excessive accumulation in the inner ear, it's going to produce more production of this fluid, and then accumulation takes place, and then due to this fluid, there will be the increased pressure in the inner ear. That's what, due to the excessive pressure, due to the increased pressure, there will be the rupture of membranes in the inner ear. Due to that rupture, permanent loss of auditory and vestibular function. Here auditory means hearing loss, and then vestibular means the body system of maintaining equilibrium. Permanent loss we can see. This is all about the pathophysiology of Meniere's disease. Next we'll see clinical features, clinical manifestations of Meniere's disease. Here, periodic episodes of vertigo. Periodic episodes of vertigo, that is vertigo or giddiness or dizziness. Sensory neural hearing loss. Tinnitus, perception of sound when there is no external source, that is called tinnitus. Fullness or pressure, nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. And then we can observe diaphoresis, and then disorientation. Here diaphoresis is nothing but excessive sweating we can observe, and then disorientation means the person is in confused state, person lost. These are the clinical manifestations of Meniere's disease. Next we'll see the diagnostic evaluations for this. Diagnostic evaluations, first and foremost, there will be the history collection and physical examination. After that, otoscopic examination. Otoscopic examination. Here head to examination they are going to do. Mainly they are going to focus on the otoscopic examination, and then auditory examination. Auditory examination, and then Rinne and Weber test. Rinne and Weber test. And then again they are going to do that is audiometric brain stem response. Audiometric brain stem response. They are going to check the response of brain stem regarding this hearing. These are the clinical manifestations, and then these are the diagnostic evaluations of Meniere's disease. Next we'll see the management of Meniere's disease. Management. Here low intake of sodium diet can be recommended, and then avoidance of caffeine, nicotine and alcohol, and then pharmacological managements. Diuretics can be given. And then vestibular suppressants can be given. And then vasodilators can be given. And then anticholinergics can be given. And then anti-inflammatory can be given. And then antiemetics can be given. This is the pharmacological management, and then avoidance of sodium diet, and then also low intake of sodium, and then avoidance of caffeine, nicotine and then alcohol. Next we'll see the surgical management. Here ototoxic ablation therapy. Ablation therapy can be given. What they are going to do here actually in this therapy, transtympanic injection of antibiotic can be given. That's going to damage the inner ear. That is ototoxic ablation therapy. And then labyrinthectomy. Here, what they are going to do? Labyrinthectomy, they are going to cut and remove the labyrinth to prevent the vertigo and also balance problem. And then endolymphatic, this one also can be done. That is endolymphatic decompression. Endolymphatic decompression. Here, doctor is going to rupture the outer layer of the lymphatic sac, endolymphatic sac, to remove the excessive fluid and to drain the inner ear. That is referred as endolymphatic decompression. Next, we'll see the complications. Complications of Meniere's disease. There will be the first one. There will be the partial or total loss of hearing, and then constant tinnitus, and then permanent balance disability, and then fear, that is phobia, and then dehydration, and then loss of quality life. loss of quality life. And then trauma from falling. Trauma from falling. Here this is decrease quality of life. Decrease quality of life. Trauma from falling. These are the complications of Meniere's disease. I hope you all are very clear with the topic. Meniere's disease, it's very important in the aspect of examination. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.